Welcome back to another episode of The Next Chapter Season 2. I am your host Bala, and today with me I have a very special guest, Dr. Mebanlamphang Lyngdoh. Dr. Mebanlamphang, he is a well-established musician, an author, and also he is the head of the department in the music department of Martin Luther Christian University, and we are very thrilled to have you today in this episode, sir. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the folk music Odyssey of Meghalaya. So Meghalaya is a home to these three main tribes: the Khasi, the Garo, and the Jaintias. And these tribes has their own musical heritage. And since we're going to be talking about folk music odyssey, or the journey, the exploration of musical heritage of our state, can you please tell us a little bit about what is folk music in general, sir?
Okay, first of all, I would like to thank Bala and the whole team in the MLCU family who is involved in producing this podcast. Yeah, and then first of all, I would also like to just share what I believe when you say Khasi, Jantia, and the Garos. Okay, so I don't believe Khasi and Jantia, but I believe Khasi because under the Khasi we have the Kandriam, the Panar, the Bhoi, the War, Maram, Lingam, and earlier there's what they call as Diko, but we don't know where this Diko now. Okay, so that's what I believe. Yeah. So in this whole podcast, whenever I refer to Khasi, it will refer to the Kandriam, the Panar, the Bhoi, the War, Maram, Lingam. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So yeah, speaking about folk music, I would say folk music is among the Khasi people is a music which is handed down from one generation to another by word of mouth, or what we can say is as oral tradition. So there is no such say formal teaching in folk music. We just learn by hearing. So for example, we've learned about the song Amadoma Porake, and then Umulungkung, and a lot of folk songs which no one taught us. But we just heard those songs from people singing, and then we learn it by just hearing. So that is folk music when it comes to the Khasi people. And then, but if you look at the current scenario when it comes to folk music, it has totally changed, especially with the coming of social media and then the introduction of folk music, traditional music in the academic institution. The whole scene there's a lot of changes that we can see. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. And sir, I feel like there's so many points you've spoken about folk music, about the oral tradition.
Yes.
So we can say that, to sum it up, we can say that folk music is music of the people.
Yes, it's the music of the
So
people.
yes, it is passed down from generation to generations through word of mouth or oral tradition. So Anna, I have a question there. So passing down information or knowledge from word of mouth or oral tradition, do you think there will be a loss of authenticity in the process?
Yes, there will be a loss. I would not say 100%, but at the same time, yeah, it will be a loss in some portion, but there are some development as well. So both from the negative and the positive point of view. I don't know whether you've seen that video. Whenever I take class, when I give example about oral tradition, I would always show that video. I don't have it with me here. I have it in my laptop. So maybe I can show that I can take that video, and then I will also submit the video so that you can also look at the video, where there's a line of people, and then the first one will tap and then show his signs, okay, and do some makeup, okay. So he'll show it like this, making faces, and at the end of the line, there's another person doing something else. So that is oral tradition. Yeah. So we have lost, but we have also gained different other perspective. Okay, different other. So if you talk about music, different other styles. in that development, that process. Yeah.
Okay, so as you've been doing a lot of research about Khasi folk music, so can you please tell us a little bit about the unique styles and the characteristics of Khasi folk music, sir?
Okay, so I will not claim that I've done a lot of research, but I've done research on Khasi music.
Yes, but the themes and
Yeah.
the unique
So
styles.
because I have done works on the Duitara and then Sing, but not the whole
Yes.
area of Khasi folk music. So when you talk about style, there are some drum beats which I would say that they are typically Khasi folk music, which are originated from the hills. But there are some which I would say that we might have borrowed from our neighboring states, our neighboring tribes, say from Bangladesh and then Assam. So we have both our original and the ones that we borrow from our neighboring tribes.
Okay. So, how, like you said before, this folk music was not being taught to the younger ones, so to say. So it's just word of mouth. So it started from the hearth.
Yes.
So they would say that in the olden days, where the father or the uncle would play the duitara to his children, and then they'll give some advice. It's like that, and as time passes by, we've seen that we've taken this traditional music or folk music to another level, where folk music is also being taught in institutes, colleges. So what do you think of this transformation, or the evolution, I would say? What do you think of this evolution?
So you said it started from the hearth, right?
Yes, to the institutions.
Okay, I would say like not all types of Khasi folk music started from the hearth. Okay, there are some which started from the hearth, like if you play the duitara and other home musical instruments that we have. But there are some types of music, some musical instruments which doesn't start from the hearth. Okay, say for example, if you talk about Korot Linkha, they never perform or they never perform inside the house or in the hearth.
Yes.
So that is in the field. So there are some which started from the hearth and some from maybe outside.
Okay.
And then regarding the transformation from the hearth or maybe from say oral tradition to academic institutions.
Yes.
In the introduction of Khasi traditional music or folk music in the academic institution is just recently. I would say recently, it started in 2003. So they've started the PG diploma in music in Nehu under the initiative of Dr. Helen Giri. So it's just 20 years.
Yes.
So 20 years is not a
very long
time,
Yes.
yeah. So when you talk about teaching, learning from that point of view, I feel that I will not say that we are very much established, but we are under the progress of,
Yes.
we are progressing
Yes.
towards that level where we can say that we are well established. Because if you look at from the teaching, learning point of view, even in the academic institution, we still use both the oral tradition and we have very less books when it comes to teaching, learning.
Okay.
So the only book that we have in Khasi traditional music, which is specifically on Khasi traditional music, is a book by Dr. Lapan Shai CM.
The evolution.
The Evolution of Khasi music, yes. So that's the only book that we have. But recently I came up with another publication which is specifically on Sing and Duitara. So, but I wrote in Khasi, yes.
Once again, I would like to congratulate you.
Yeah, thank you. So that is the transformation. So we could see that there's a lot of other books which have also, a lot of other authors which have also written about Khasi traditional music, about Khasi folk music, but these writings are not specifically on a book which is related to folk music or Khasi traditional music, but it is maybe a chapter or maybe just a paragraph about this music in a book. Okay, so those are the data that we have.
Okay. So earlier you mentioned home instruments.
Yes.
So can you please enlighten our listeners what are those home instruments?
Home musical instruments. Okay. Home musical instruments are those instruments which we used only inside the hearth at home. But that I would refer to back then.
Yes.
But nowadays, all instruments are up there on stage.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back. So earlier, we don't have concerts. We don't have only radio, no TV, no radio. So the only form of entertainment that we can use to entertain ourselves is music. And during the daytime, people will not have time to entertain themselves with music, right? Inside their home. So maybe in the field they would entertain, because we also have other instruments which are used in the field. Say for example, like a bisli. If you look at the cowherds, the cowboys, they would use the bisli, the ming, to play the instrument to entertain themselves in the field. So go back to home musical instruments like the duitara. If you look at the duitara, if you listen to the tone, the sound of the duitara, it's an instrument which is a self-sounding instrument. And if you look from the sound perspective, I think it will not be possible to play a duitara in an open arena, especially earlier where we don't have sound system.
Yes.
Right? So it will be audible, but it will not be that good. See, if you sit far away from the player, you will not be able to hear it properly. So maybe that's the concept of the Khasi people earlier, that they used these instruments inside their house, in their homes.
Okay.
Maring or duitara, okay. And whereas kaksing gabom, they use outside in the field, especially in the dancing arena, because those are loud instruments. Yeah.
Okay. So when you mention these other instruments like the ksing or the bum and also the krut lingkha.
Yeah.
What is the krut lingkha actually, sir?
Okay, krut lingkha is where if you go to the field, okay, say for example, I have a plot of land, a huge plot of land. So when I prepare for the cultivation, I will not be able to plow the land alone. So what I used to do is I would invite my neighbors or maybe people from the community to come to my plot of land, and then we will plow together. Okay, we will plow together, and then during this activity, they also have songs.
Okay, so this is how it's associated with music.
Yes.
Okay.
So they have these songs, and then they will play. They will sing the song. There will be one leader who will be playing the sing, and then he will sing, and then all the people who are plowing the land, they will also repeat after him. So that is krut lingkha. This is very common in the Ribhoi area, and they still practice till today.
Okay.
In some places in Ribhoi. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So that is, I would say, it's a community participation. Yeah. Say for example, I'm done with my plot of land.
Yes.
So after we are finished with my plot of land, so the next day or maybe after 2-3 days, we will go to your plot of land.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that is how they help each other in the community.
Thank you so much, sir, for that information. That's quite new.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were talking about your book.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just have one question for you. What inspired you to write that book?
Because I started as a music student.
Yes.
To play sing the duitara. Let me start like this. I started music not from Khasi folk music. I started with playing the guitar.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And then before playing the guitar, I used to sing. I would not say that I'm a singer, but I participate in singing.
Yes.
in the community, and then in the church. And then I pick up the guitar, play the guitar, and then after playing the guitar, during performances, earlier we never had lots of performances like now, okay, like we have now. But earlier, the only platform for performances is in the church. So we play in the church. So there are some songs in the church that we play. There are some special items in the song in the church that we play, which have that Khasi rhythm. Yes. Okay, so we use the guitar to play those Khasi rhythm. But when we play those Khasi rhythms, we also feel that there's a need of a doitara. So what we did is, we used to mute when we play. We mute with the palm of our, we mute like this and we play it just to get that doitara feel. And then later on, I came to know that there's one music school in Shillong that is in Umsosun, the Jibon Roy Creative Art Academy. So I came to know that there's one person from Thang Sning who used to come to this place and teach doitara. So I came across this music school. So I went there and then joined the school as a music student. But unfortunately, he was not in a good health condition during that time. So he came, I think I had only around 3 to 6 months maybe class with him. And then after that, he could not come, and then I had to explore on my own. And then I came to know that I meet these friends from like Kerhong, Kong Batimai, Kurkalang, Ba Rising Kurkalang, and then I met Ba Chedrak Marbo. We used to call him Ba Marbo. And then through these meetings, jamming with them, they also invited me to participate in different cultural programs. And then after that, that was I think in 2003 or 2004, because there was no teacher who teaches doitara in Jibon Roy. So Ba Arwan Singh Taryang, who's in charge of that music school, he told me that I have to teach. Okay. At first I rejected, but he said, no, you have to do it. So can't help. So I take that, and then with a lot of challenges, because there's no notes, no nothing, right?
Yes, sir.
So I had to begin from scratch. So started to write notes, because during my session with Ba Dhon, he used to give few notes. So based from that, I tried to expand on what Ba Dhon has given to me. So I tried to expand on that. So, and then later on, I feel that I should come up with a book. So that idea is not an idea which came up recently. So that idea has been running through my head right from 2003, 2004, that I should have a book. I don't know whether I will publish it or I will write it or someone else who will write it. Okay, but we should have a book to teach doitara and then ksing and lots of other Khasi musical instruments. Okay. Yeah.
What do you expect the readers of this book to take away from your writings?
This is just, I would say, it's my endeavor, okay? Because if you look at folk music, if you look especially with Khasi folk music, it's something which is, there's a lot of varieties, and different people have different opinions.
That's true.
So whatever I've written, it's my opinion, and plus a lot of data has been collected from those traditional experts. I would call them as traditional experts from different parts of Khasi Hills. Most of them are from the rural areas. Mm-hmm. So I think readers should be, whenever they read the book, they should read with an open mind. With an open mind, because whatever it's written there, it might not be accurate, okay? Because I try my level best, okay, but it might not be accurate. So read it with an open mind, and there's a lot of space, there's a lot of room for improvement. Okay, that is for me first of all, and for the readers as well. So I would suggest the readers that they can also maybe write to me or maybe meet me if they have any suggestions, because this is something new, because we don't have a book which is specifically on Xing and Doitara when it comes to teaching learning. So I would say this is the first book. So there's a lot of things that needs to be incorporated, and then maybe do some corrections, because I released my book on the 5th
Yes.
October. I think that was on the 3rd midnight. I was just going through the book. I still found out some mistakes here and there. Okay, so
There's
I've
always
noted
room
those
for
mistakes. Yeah,
improvement.
so I've noted those mistakes. So maybe let's hope that I can also reprint or maybe
In the next edition.
revise the book. So maybe these things can be done later. Yeah.
So thank you so much for your insights. And as we've talked also about taking our traditional music to playing for concerts and on big stages like that. So there's a confusion, I would say, that so many bands in the present music scenario here, that they would call themselves folk fusion bands, where they'll just pick any traditional instrument incorporated with other Western instruments, or any folk element. They would incorporate that with Western instruments. So please enlighten us a little bit, like what is folk fusion, and whether it should be like the what do you call it, the correct
Characteristics of the song, maybe?
no, like the composition of the song. So how is a song a folk fusion song, or these bands performance
Okay.
like that?
So as per my understanding, when we say fusion, it doesn't mean that you just combine Xing Doitara with guitar, and that is fusion.
Yes.
Okay. So when you talk about fusion, you also need to look at the ingredients that are there.
Yes.
Okay.
The correct proportion, yeah, that's what I meant.
Look at
Yes.
the melodic structure, you look at the rhythmic structure. How do you mix the melodic structure of Khasi with Western music? How do you fuse these? How do you fuse the rhythmic structure with the Khasi rhythmic structure with the Western rhythmic structure, or maybe Indian, or maybe any other types of music?
Yes.
So that is very important. It's not just combining 2-3 instruments from some from Khasi and some from Western. That is fusion. Okay, so that is what I understand when it comes to fusion.
Okay.
So I will not judge which one is a fusion, which one is not. So I would pass this message to students, performers, that before they claim that it is a folk fusion, I think we should, go into study properly, okay, in-depth study on their compositions, whether we can call it as a folk fusion or not. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And I have another question. Do folk artists have, get platforms to perform? Like, what are the platforms for Khasi folk music musicians here in the state?
You mean to say the current scene?
Yes,
or
current.
the current scene? Okay, looking at the current scene, I think as folk musicians, we also need to go to the front, okay?
Yes.
Because with the coming of these platforms like MGMP and lots of cafes and pubs,
Yes.
And
And
then-
most of the time you would see that artists, they always perform Western
Yes.
songs, or very popular songs, and when it's written in the poster that it's traditional music, most of the audience also says, okay, traditional music, okay, I'll choose to go to the other concert or a Western music show. Yeah, from my own experience
yeah, okay.
with friends. and-
Okay, so to to discuss on this point, I think we will not be able to just look at the current scene. Okay, we have to go back. If we listen to Khasi folk music, it's monotonous. Okay, even for me, sometimes I feel that it's fed up. It's over here. Okay, why? Because we are playing the same rhythm over and over again, the same melodic structure over and over again. I think you've also experienced this. If there's a Khasi folk song competition, or if there are, say, there are 10 bands or 10 groups coming for the competition, compete during the competition, all of them will be playing the same rhythm.
Exactly.
Say, yeah. Or
Yes.
maybe, yeah. So
Yes,
these are the
yes.
two common rhythms, right? So that's why I think that's the main reason why audience are fed up. So I think we as folk musicians, we should try to explore, because there's a lot of rhythms that we as the community, as the tribe, as a tribe that we have. If you go to Ribhoi district, there's a lot of rhythms. Different villages has different rhythms. If you go to Jante Hills, they have different rhythms. If you go to West Khasi Hills, they have different rhythms. You go to Lingam, they have different rhythms.
Yes.
And a lot of rhythms. So I think as folk musicians, we should explore these rhythms and
Yes.
write our songs, compose our songs based on those different rhythms. There's a lot of work.
Yes.
It's not easy, but it will contribute to the music scene, the folk music scene. And there will come a time, if we do in that way, there will come a time where people will not say that,
That's true.
no,
Yes.
they are fed up of
And
those rhythms.
I think it's the same thing with the instruments as well. Once you say it's a folk music competition, musicians will carry their ditara and
Yeah.
sing only,
Yes.
or the kinshao. But then, when I read your book, I came across so many instruments that I've never seen or I've never heard of them.
Mhm.
So I think as folk musicians, I'm speaking to myself also. Like we should explore more on
Yes.
these instruments also.
I can't help, because those are our identity, Doitara Aksing, okay? And those two rhythms that I've just played, those are
Yes.
our identity. Once you play that, those two rhythms, okay, they'll know that this is Khasi. But I think it's high time for us to also explore, because this is the only generation, this is crucial, okay? This is the generation that if we document, if we learn this instrument, especially these rare instruments, we have to do it now. Because we still have those traditional experts, especially in the rural areas, who can still play those instruments.
It's really the need
Yeah.
of the hour.
Yes. If we cannot document, if we cannot learn those instruments in this generation, then that's the end. So just documentation with video or photographs will not. I would say it's not enough. We need people who will play those instruments.
Yes.
Because it's totally different if you learn directly from, I would say, from the guru or from the traditional expert, rather than just looking at the documentation after 50 years and learn those different instruments. So first-hand knowledge is very important. So this is the generation that we have to.
So for all the folk musicians, this is crucial.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this will be the last question.
So,
How do you envision the future of Khasi folk music in maybe 30, 50 years down the lane?
There's hope, because especially when it has been introduced in the academic arena, okay, there is hope. But there is also, I would say, there's a danger, okay? There is something which, because once it has been introduced in the academic institution, which means that different people from different tribes are coming to learn.
Yes.
So we have to be very serious, especially the Khasi people, in learning these instruments, learning our music in a professional way, Why? Because if we don't do it, there will come a time where people from other tribes will come and teach Khasi traditional music, Khasi folk music. I have come across this when I was in St. Anthony's College. There was one student who's not a Khasi. I will not name him. Who's not a Khasi, but he is the top in playing the Ksing among the Khasi boys and girls.
Okay. Okay, so I think thank you so much for all your insights, and so I think we have come to an end. We don't have enough time to talk about folk music. So, sir, actually, I have another question for you. Can you please tell our listeners about your book? Like from where can they get the book?
Okay, so I think I should show the book. This is the book.
Better.
Yeah. This is the book. Kakot Hikai Tem Ksing Bat Duitara. And you can get this book from Rikhasi bookstall, Mokhar, and then you can also get it from Melody. And the price of this book is 1,800. Thank you.
Okay. So, yes, that's the book. And for all the listeners, please buy this book. It'll be very helpful for you and for your generations to come. So thank you so much for hanging out with us, listening to this podcast, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.